A Revolution on Sunset. I'm Rebecca Lieb.
I'm Jason Horton.
And this is Ghost Town.
I'm going to take you back to the swinging 60s.
Ooh.
Specifically, November 12th, 1966.
Mm-hmm.
Sunset Boulevard, the Sunset Strip in Los Angeles.
California.
A little place called Pandora's Box,
Ooh.
which is sort of made famous or recreated in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood from Quentin Tarantino. So they did a kind of remade that. But it has a very significant part of counterculture, protest. And I feel like now's a great time to it's always a great time to talk about relevant. Protest. And people did not like to be told they had a curfew.
No.
In even 1966, where you think like, all right, the Beatles did their last concert, so they're even kind of going kind of like hippie psychedelic, but it's it's not even 1967 yet. So we're not even like deep, but we're getting there.
Mm-mm.
People wanted to live loud.
They did.
Live proud.
Well, do you remember we had a curfew back in March?
Yeah. We were doing the podcast and we were trying to finish an episode.
People, again, it feels like the suppression of human rights to have a curfew.
Apparently, the suits didn't like what was going on Sunset Boulevard. A bunch of teens, a bunch of rock and rollers, a bunch of hippies. Ooh. And we're not even really super deep in the, 1966, it's like it's starting to get a little shaggy.
Yeah. But
1966, things started to come to a boil on Sunset Boulevard. So the Vietnam War is making people very upset.
Yes.
The bodies are being shipped home. Music was becoming a tool for the revolution.
Yeah.
I know people now go, I can't believe Rage Against the Machine is talking about politics. Why can't you just stick to music? It's like, that's literally the purpose of that. So I feel like there's music. It's like, hey, Bob Dylan, hey, Crosby, Stills and Nash, why don't you just stick to music and don't get political? Mm-hmm. Hey, Woody Guthrie, which is a little earlier. I always think about Woody Guthrie because, it was his guitar said this guitar fights fascism. Mm-hmm. And I remember somebody talking about seeing someone at probably a Starbucks, and on their MacBook, said this computer, whatever it is, this machine fights fascism. It's like,
God, that's awful. That's awful.
I know. I just wanted to just
right next to it's Trenta Starbucks Jasmine Refresher.
Yeah. So
what a hero.
Yeah. Ugh. And he's like, this script that I hope to make a lot of money on. And
this rom-com fights fascism.
And there's a culture war going on in the world, and especially in Los Angeles, big city, because, people of the old guard are like, hey, I don't like what's going on. That doesn't happen now.
Never. No, never heard
everyone
of it.
Is kind of like, hey, listen, the youth are the future. And times are changing, and we are just going to go along with the change.
Yeah, totally. I'll listen to every tweet, and I'll take it literally, and I will follow it to a T.
Yeah, I mean, this could be happening on Facebook right now. Mm-hmm. Celebrities are involved. You got celebrities kind of like saying, hey, I'm Peter Fonda. I'm down with what's going on, what the kids are saying.
Yeah, Peter Fonda's down.
And 8118 Sunset Boulevard, Pandora's Box, is kind of where on November 12th, 1966, things really kind of came to a head. So it was an alcohol-free club, Pandora's Box. So a lot of young...
Alcohol-free.
Yeah. So it wasn't even, but it was a haven for kids.
Yeah.
Nobody's spending a lot of money in the surrounding area, so it's bad for business. Mm-hmm. Whether it's bankers or people that have real estate or restaurants. These kids, beside taking a lot of space, making a lot of noise, they weren't spending a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And that's the bottom line. And they wanted to get rid of Pandora's Box because it was down Sunset, probably somewhat past the Whiskey, maybe towards Crescent Heights. Mm-hmm. So it was in a pretty pivotal place. I think right now what's there is you could see a CVS. You probably know if you see it. It's a kind of vacancy.
I think it's like the Counter Burger.
It's something like that. Yeah. It came to fruition what they wanted, and sort of a lot of Los Angeles and a lot of places in the United States and the world. And they wanted to squeeze it out. And how you squeeze it out is impose a curfew.
Yeah.
Because if they're not out with the curfew, the businesses can't stay in business. They have to get sold off.
Yeah.
And they could get rid of it and put up a high rise or whatever they want to do. And that's what they intended on doing.
Yeah.
Previous to that, there was a lot of harassment with police, teens, long hairs, hippies, for just maybe they're loitering at worst. So it was pretty tense. So on November 12th, 1966, flyers were passed around. Local DJs were getting the word out that there was going to be protest police mistreatment of youth on Sunset Boulevard. No more shackling of 14 and 15-year-olds. And a call for peaceful protest that night in front of Pandora's Box. And there was anywhere, the counts vary, between 1,000 and 3,000 teenagers. You had Jack Nicholson, Dennis Hopper, Peter Fonda, Sonny and Cher.
Ooh, Sonny and Cher, you're getting both.
Now you're interested. And they were there to kind of speak their piece, kind of get the word out. There was a non-related road rage incident. So that happened right around there. That got everyone heated. And then the police just showed up.
Oh, man.
Because I think at first the police were pretty cool with what's going on because it wasn't necessarily, people say this is, is it truly a riot? Is it not? Who's to say? It's a matter of opinion what you think a riot is. If you even look at news today, what is a riot? What's not a riot? There were 150 LAPD ready, 79 sheriff's deputies, tear gas, batons, kind of turning everything inside out. Yeah. And then the group Community Action for Facts and Freedom, CAFF, they organized a benefit concert to raise bail money. People got arrested, property damage, and the kind of to support the unofficial counterculture safe haven, which was that part of the Sunset Strip. Ronald Reagan is now governor, so that doesn't help. Business licenses were withdrawn, and without those business licenses, you can't continue.
No, you can't do it. Especially, I've been reading about, actually, I'll probably do an episode on this later, the Chateau Marmont and the history behind that.
Yeah.
Huge. This book is, full of stuff. But a point that they make, places got away with not having business licenses or skewing it or, letting things lapse. If you're on the Sunset Strip, you're dead if you don't have all of the proper things in order. They were so on lockdown in that part, from the 20s, honestly, until now.
And the Sunset Strip is, obviously notorious for being wild,
Yeah.
Especially with hair metal and rock and roll in the 80s. And, even now, sure, now it's a lot less. There's just a lot of, billboards or.
And now it's kind of a big marketing
billboards.
area.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. It's a lot of what's on Netflix.
Exactly. A couple of production offices, but it's not quite the legendary hot spot it was, but it still has a lot of the history involved in it, and you can kind of see and envision as you go down it where all this happened, how it happened, what it kind of looked like.
Well, unfortunately, the next year Pandora's Box closed. It succumbed to the pressures. Now, there's a Buffalo Springfield song, For What It's Worth, and that is probably one of the anthems of the counterculture, and people kind of attributed it to what was going on in Vietnam. It applied, but it was actually related and written directly as a response to the Sunset Curfew riots of 1966.
I love that song.
You're going to sing us a few bars?
Me?
Yeah.
For you guys? No, you don't pay for that.
You would pay not to hear it.
Yeah,
hey, listen, if you want to not hear us do karaoke cover songs with no music, you'll find that all at patreon.com/ghosttownpod. Bonus episodes, supports the show, but also no acapella of
Singing,
60s counterculture songs.
I will mercifully spare you.